Hello and welcome. I'm Saad Dino, pharmacist and co-owner of Acton Pharmacy and West Concord Pharmacy. I would like to welcome everyone back to our show, A Healthier You. Our goal is to discuss relevant health topics and to provide information that will guide you to a healthier lifestyle. Today, we will be discussing memory loss with Dr. Thomas Shea, Professor and Director of UMass Lowell Laboratory for Neuroscience and Department of Biological Studies. Dr. Shea has dedicated more than 20 years to the fight against memory loss and dementia. Dementia is an overall term used to describe a variety of symptoms associated with memory loss. The most common form of dementia is Alzheimer's disease. According to the Alzheimer's Association, in 2014 alone, more than 5.2 million people over the age of 65 were affected. And this number continues to grow as there is no cure for memory loss. Dr. Shea, thank you for joining me today. We are excited to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Please tell us how you came to choose a career that focused on memory loss, please.
Wow, that's a long story. I've always liked biology, and we're made of cells. Our whole body is made of different kinds of cells that make up our tissues. And brain cells, the ones that house our memory, are very beautiful cells.
Okay.
They're like all others, but they have a long projection, like a wire, like a telephone wire, that connects from one cell to the next. And when they are all connected, we can form and recall memories. And they have to work together to do this. One single brain cell doesn't hold a memory, but rather they work together. So in studying brain cells over time, this just became more and more fascinating.
Okay. And it's been how long, if I may ask?
PhD in 1983.
Okay.
So it's been studying brain cells and memory ever since then.
That's interesting. So everyone experiences forgetfulness, Dr. Shea. We all forget where we put our keys. From time to time, we forget to turn the coffee maker off.
Yes, we do.
But when would you say forgetfulness becomes a sign of dementia?
Well, let's use the very examples you brought up. We all forget our keys. But if you find yourself sitting in your car, or a classic example is a farmer on his tractor, and you don't know what to do with the key. You have a flash and you're in the midstream of something. Or you're holding a toothbrush and you forget why you're holding it. That's the kind of thing that, that speaks about dementia. It's not simple forgetfulness. Finding your keys in the freezer, something that's so out of line.
Okay.
That's when there's serious problems. And dementia, or the initial aspects of memory loss, are spotty. They occur infrequently.
Okay.
One of the corollaries of that goes along with us for people that are worried about memory loss, if you know you're forgetting things and you're concerned about it, you're probably okay. It's when you don't realize it and things are breaking down in terms of memory or sequence, and you don't remember how you got there. That's when things become very serious.
So speaking of that, Dr. Shea, what are the common signs that identify a person experiencing memory loss?
Well, things like that. Imagine you've been making a recipe or running your business, and you've been doing certain patterns every day, and now they're suddenly more difficult. Handling numbers becomes confusing, or midway through a recipe, you lose your place. And I don't mean just check back to the list that you were doing. You really lose your place and forget what ingredient you need next for something you've been doing constantly. Those are the kind of signals. And often your family or friends will notice it before you do.
Interesting. So are there tests that are done to identify these symptoms?
Yes, there are. There are standard tests that can show how you're doing right now, and perhaps more importantly, the test can be repeated over a week or a month or a few months to show that you're either holding ground or you're getting a little worse, or maybe you were just having a bad time and you're doing a little better. So physicians and neuroscientists have standard tests that measure our cognition. They're simple to complex tests.
And what kind of physician would you see, or what kind of profession would you see to get those tests
The
done?
thing that's starting out is just your general practitioner.
Okay.
And he or she would give you a reference quickly.
Okay.
And a general practitioner is usually versed in some of these simple tests or has a colleague who is.
Thank you. How strong is the correlation between age and memory loss?
Very strong. That's what is the main risk factor for memory loss in that sense? Aging. in a sense. Certain parts of our body are not replaced. We don't replace our heart muscle cells the way we replace our skin or our liver cells. We don't replace our brain cells. So they have to last your entire life. We do get a few new cells. People have heard of stem cells. But by and large, I'll make a global statement.
Yeah.
You're born with all the brain cells you're going to get, and that's it. So they have to last your entire lifetime. What does that mean? If you go back in time, we lived to 30 years old.
Right.
And that was it. And we weren't looking all that good by 25. And now we approach 3 times that length. So these poor little brain cells, I'm 62 years old. My brain cells are 62 years old. I want another 62 years out of them. I don't think I'm going to get it. Imagine a car where you never replaced a part and you replace all the other parts. Well, that's what we face with our brain over time.
Interesting. Are there, so some people, family members,
Yeah.
a mom or a dad or uncle, aunts or grandparents, had an issue with dementia or memory loss. Should those, should there be a concern with those younger family members?
Definitely.
That there may be a correlation
Definitely,
from
yes.
genetics or
There are
otherwise?
definitely many genetic risk factors, I'll call them. Certain forms of genes. We all have the same genes,
Yes, sir.
but we have different forms of them. Blue eyes, brown eyes, and so on. Some of us lose our hair earlier than and light skin, dark skin.
Yeah.
There are genetic risk factors for heart disease, for diabetes, and for memory loss. It doesn't mean necessarily the offspring of even both parents who had memory loss will have it, but they're certainly more at risk. The risk factors can be tamed a bit by diet and behavior. Exercising regularly, keeping mentally active, and a good diet will help, because the risk factor doesn't confirm or say definitely you will have dementia. It's one part of the puzzle that adds up to bring forth dementia clinically.
So can you expand on, how to keep the brain functioning
Sure, again,
properly? Is there such a thing?
Yeah, definitely.
If I'm asking the right way.
Oh, you certainly are. Keeping your brain active is very, very important. And what happens as we age, you get a little tired. A lot of us do.